Yo, what's up? First off, I want to say thank you guys so unbelievably much for the support on the last video. God did. I don't know how we got this, but we're here. Anyway, in today's video, we're going to be going over Tank Doomfist, what happened to DPS Doomfist, is he better now, and we have a special guest appearance from your boy Get Quaked On himself. So, Tank Doom. Is he good? Is he bad? Well, he's actually pretty good. He may be completely different from the DPS version he was before, with the all-in int tactics to get a kill on a support player and make him really mad, but he's a bit more slowed down now. You kind of slam cycle. You press E, you punch out, you get your ult, or you get empowered punch, then you go in and feed your brains out and everyone gets mad at you. But is it more fun? As someone who played DPS Doom for the better part of 5 to 6 years, personally, I don't think so. And honestly, Doomfist turning into a tank kind of turned me off to him as a character. So anyway, to reiterate, do I think Tank Doom is more fun than DPS Doom? No. Tank Doom is nothing. Well, he's similar to his DPS counterpart, but it plays, in my opinion, nothing like the old Doomfist. Personally, I have hit GM1 pre-Season 9 on Tank Doomfist, and from my experience, the entire role of the character now is you slam cycle, and you get your ult, and you get your empowered punch, and then you just full int and try to get a kill. Or you create pressure on off angles, which is completely different to the old ways of playing Doomfist. Another downside of having Doomfist on a tank role in Overwatch 2 is 5v5. Now, I'm not going to harp on it too much because I did that last video. Thanks again. But there are many problems that come with it. When you try playing Doomfist into Orisa, it is horrible. The character cannot be killed by you. When you try playing Doomfist into Hog, all you're doing is waiting to see when the hook comes out. Then you can play the game. When you're playing Doomfist into Mauga, if he cages you, you just insta-die. He just gets countered by so many things, but the thing about Doomfist, in tank at least, is you can still make him work, but you are going to be miserable doing it. Tank Doomfist does still have one thing in common with his DPS predecessor, whatever you want to say it. The movement. The movement of the character is still insane. There's still a crap ton of techs. Even though we have lost some, there's still a million different ways you can outplay your opponents. You can do crazy slam cancel techs. You can slam cancel into the air and hit Pharahs out of the sky. And I would say that is one thing that does make Tank Doom a bit more fun. With all this being said, though, Doomfist is notoriously the most buggy character in all of Overwatch, especially when you are the one tank on your team. Do you want to play a character where if your E bugs out and doesn't do damage, you punch someone, they slide off a wall and it doesn't kill them? It's things like that. Those little niche moments where you need to have impact and you can't simply because the character is too buggy. Samito is a prime example. He says he doesn't want to play Doomfist anymore because there's no reason to put as much time into a character that takes so much dedication and skill when you can just play Orisa, turn your brain off, and get more or equal value for doing less. In my opinion, I don't find myself playing Doomfist as much as I used to in Overwatch 1, but in a way, playing Doomfist nowadays still has a bit of a fulfillment to it, knowing that you are playing a character that is either weaker, not understand, can't be played as well as other people, and you still doing as much as you can. It's kind of more rewarding, but at the same time, it's not. You get what I'm saying? Also, guys, I have been reading the comments from the last video, and a point I didn't make is a game for everyone is a game for no one, and you guys are completely right. In a way, Doomfist is not a hero for everyone, but that's why the people who put so much effort and time into the character love him so much because of how unique he is. Personally, the way that I look at Tank Doom now, he kind of plays like Winston in a weird way, where you use your E to take high ground space, or you use your E to farm ult charge off chokes. Anyways, I'm kind of just rambling. But the point I'm trying to make is Doomfist kind of plays like other characters he was never like before, if that makes any sense. But it is because he's a tank now, so I guess he kind of has to. Now, my boy, the two-time DPS Doomfist. If you guys have played DPS Doom in Overwatch 1, you know what I'm talking about when I say this character was the most unique, interesting, fast-paced, movement, tech-oriented thing I have ever put my hands on in an FPS game. I cannot describe the amount of time, the amount of hours, the amount of maps, the amount of rollouts, all these crazy things I knew how to do on the character because it was so interesting to learn. What made DPS Doomfist special in my opinion was the ability to pierce through all of the dumb abilities. you could uppercut Baptiste out of immortality. Like, the feeling of uppercutting someone who placed down a button with E and thinking they can just live and then just knocking them up out of it is hilarious to me. Now, I will admit, the punch was a little corny. Hitting some dumb one-shot through a choke by just holding right-click and saying, fuck it, Jesus take the wheel, please God hit the Baptiste, is a little corny. But my counter-argument to people who believe DPS Doom was corny, which I'm not going to lie, he was a little bit, was the character could be countered so easily if you knew what you were doing. This is where Doomfist got his pub stomper reputation, where if you knew what you were doing on Doomfist and you were in a lower elo game, you could just control the lobby because other people didn't know how to stop you. Guys, I cannot tell you the amount of resentment, I'm going to say the word hate, I have towards people who played Cassidy in Overwatch 1 with his old flashbang, Echo players, Pharah players. I still don't like them to this day. Call it cope, call it whatever you want. In top 500, the people who would counterpick me like that just deserve to be hit with every junk combo that has ever been thrown in the universe. But the beauty of DPS Doom was that while people could play characters like Cassidy, and all they had to do was press E and look at you and they could kill you, was you could outplay them so unbelievably hard. There are countless clips, countless montages from people like Quake, people like Zebra, people like Kevin Durant, people like Chipsa, outplaying characters that were meant to counter Doomfist, but with enough skill and enough game knowledge, you could kill them. So let's get to the good part of the video, shall we? I reached out to Get Quaked On, a man who should need no introduction for his legendary feats on this character, the guy who got me into playing Doomfist himself. I reached out to him and I asked him 4 questions about what he thinks about Doom, Tank Doom, or DPS Doom, if he requires more skill, if the transition to playing tank was harder, and what he would do to make the character better as of now. So I'm going to go ahead and throw these up on screen right now. Here's the list of questions that I gave to him so he could read them out and gave him some time to respond. So the first question I asked Quake, do you personally prefer Tank Doom or DPS Doom, and why? Quake basically says he prefers DPS Doom more because he is a DPS player, and he doesn't like how the tank role is actually played. Sadly, I didn't get to experience beta Doomfist, but according to Quake, beta tank Doomfist was like insane, and I really wish I could have tried that. Second thing I asked Quake, do you think Tank Doom requires more or less skill and decision making than DPS? Quake then responded with, Tank Doomfist has a higher skill floor than DPS Doom, but he thinks DPS Doomfist has a higher skill ceiling, unless it was beta Tank Doomfist. Beta Tank Doom seems to be coming up a lot in his responses. I am really, really upset I didn't get a chance to play him, but he's kind of making it seem like beta Doom was the shit. Personally, my favorite question that I did end up asking Quake was the transition into tank easier or harder than you originally thought it would be? Quake says he didn't play tank before, and he didn't really know how to. But he picked up Tank Doom pretty easily since the alpha because he played exactly like DPS Doom, referring to DPS Doom doing tanking things in Overwatch 1. He then follows it up with saying, you just do more tanking things than you did DPS things. And personally for me, that's where I kind of lost the spark to play Tank Doom. He then backs up the argument though by saying he likes playing Tank Doom in a DPS fashion because he finds it more fun and challenging, which in my opinion is perfectly understandable because you spent so much time learning the DPS version of that character, so the skills transition over easier and allow for more flashy plays. And then finally, number 4, what would you do with the character as of right now to make him better in your opinion? Quake then follows up with, just fix his bugs, fix the movement, go back to the beta build of Tank Doomfist. He even mentions removing block to bring back uppercut and saying he would be more fun to play against. And powered punch being the thing that makes you win on Doom is too cheesy. It's a low skill, high reward ability, and the fact that Tank Doom is still a punch bot is sad to see, which is exactly why I don't play Tank Doomfist. The character's best ability in his entire kit is punch. Why? Because it's CC, because it comes back in 4 seconds, because it allows you to set up kills, it allows you to cancel abilities. But it's so skillless. It's so easy to do. Anyone can do it. But playing Doomfist before, the reason he was so much fun was because uppercut, E, and punch all working together in harmony allowed for such beautiful playmaking and amazing skill expression. Hence why I brought up the stuff with Winston. That's why Doomfist does kind of feel like Winston. You can't do as many flashy things. With montages now, you just see diags mostly, which are impressive, but it's still just punching. You know what I mean? Personally, I'm in huge favor of getting rid of block. I think block is a dumb ability. I think, like Quake said, it is extremely skillless. You kind of just stand there, and when you know you're going to be shot, you press the button. And if they shoot you, then you get a free punch. Bringing uppercut back would allow for insane amounts of movement and playmaking, which is what the character was, in my opinion, made to be. That's why he was so much fun. So, in the grand scheme of things, is DPS Doom or is Tank Doom better? In my personal opinion, if it's not obvious already, I love DPS Doom. I always will. Tank Doom is kind of like a shell of the character he used to be, in my opinion. He's a lot more basic, not as flashy as I would say. Still can be, but nothing like how he used to be. As far as to what I would do, there's always the 6v6 argument, but realistically, I agree with Quake. I think bringing back uppercut would allow for so many different possibilities with the character and make him way more unique than just a punch bot. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you really did enjoy it, please smack the like button down below. It helps me a lot and pushes this video out to new people. Make sure you guys go follow Get Quaked on socials. Everything will be in the description. He's a great guy and knows way more than I do about Doomfist. Maybe. And make sure to give my stuff a follow. I'm going to start streaming on Twitch soon. So it'd be crazy if you guys could go give that a follow. It'll also be in the description. Much love. Can't wait to hear from you guys, and peace.